Sometimes, it seems like there's too much information when it comes to health and wellness advice, especially if the subject is embarrassing, touchy, or maybe just kind of gross. But don't worry, no shame or embarrassment allowed here. I'm Dr. Babes, and today, let's talk about something not so private that women and gentlemen needs to know. And it's all about birth control. When it comes to birth control, you might think the pill is your only option, and that's understandable. It's the only birth control method that needs no further explanation. I mean, when someone says the pill, no one asks, which pill? The pill is among the most famous of the contraceptive methods, but it's not for everybody. Maybe you have a health condition like high blood pressure, or you're a smoker, or over age 35. And if so, please quit. Or maybe the pill's side effects are making your life miserable. We're talking about mood swings, nausea, bloating, and water retention. Fun, right? Sure, the pills are inexpensive, easy to use, and it works great. That is, if you remember to take it. Okay, so Wednesday down, Thursday down. All right, it's time for Friday. Wait, isn't it Saturday today? But there are other birth control options that are just as effective and better for you. But before we get too deep, first things first, unprotected sex can lead to human babies. That's right, sex creates people. It's a whole new thing. So if you don't want a human baby right now, make sure you're protected. And surprise! Unprotected sex can lead to some nasty, annoying, and even life-threatening diseases. Herpes, chlamydia, HIV. So whatever method of birth control you use, you do need to protect yourself against STDs. When choosing contraception, you'll want to consider things like your medical history, how soon or if you're planning on having children, and your ability to stick to a plan. You have to be honest with yourself. Now, if you're looking for 100% foolproof, cheap, enough to be free contraception method, I've got one word for you: abstinence. Now that can be either the easiest option or the hardest, depending on your lifestyle. But we all know it's true. Abstaining from sex is the only guaranteed effective birth control method. Duh. But if you're sexually active or planning to be one, you gotta take control of your birth control. We'll get you started here. But it's always best to talk things through your OBGYN before you make any kind of medical decisions. She's tiny, flexible, and pretty close to perfect. No, not Barbie, and definitely not me. It's the IUD. The IUD is an itty-bitty piece of plastic shaped like a T, inserted in your uterus by your doctor. It runs interference to block the sperm from reaching the eggs your body releases every month when you ovulate. One type of IUD contains the hormone progestin. Progestin helps thicken the mucus in the lining of the cervix to block the sperm. It can also stop eggs from being released from the ovaries altogether. No eggs, no pregnancy, no way! There are also hormone-free IUDs that are wrapped in copper. So the copper in the IUD keeps the sperm from fertilizing the egg, while the IUDs can cause annoying things like bloating, cramps, and weird discharge. Just so you know, they're not as serious as the side effects some women experience from the pill. If you're a smoker, over age 35, or have some underlying medical condition, the pill can increase your risk of heart attack and stroke. Yeah, stroke. I have discussed this in our previous videos, right? And that's no joke. More good news about IUDs. They are about 99% effective. They're also long-lasting and the ones that contain progestin can get bonus points for reducing heavy period. Depending on the type you get, an IUD can be effective anywhere from 3 to 12 years. But they're also simple for your doctor to remove if you decide it's time. Real talk, insertion can be a little bit uncomfortable, but the IUDs are safe, and once in, you won't even know it's there. Now, that is not the case for birth control injections. If you don't mind a little pinch in your arm or butt, you might want to consider getting the Depo-Provera shot every 3 months. Depo-Provera contains a form of hormone progestin, which prevents you from ovulating. So you almost have a perfect shot at preventing pregnancy. Just so you know, birth control injections aren't quite as effective as IUDs, and it's important to schedule your shots on time. Yes, you do have the hassle of a doctor visit every 3 months, but now there's a version of the shot that you can do at home after you've been taught how by your doctor, of course. If you're the don't want the hassle kind of girl, you might want to consider a birth control implant. This involves having a matchstick size rod of guess which hormone? Progestin, inserted up under the skin of your upper arm. The procedure is done in the doctor's office, and when it's in, it's good for up to 3 years. But if you decide you want a baby before these 3 years are up, your doctor can remove it. It can also be removed if you develop side effects. While the birth control implant is almost 100% effective at preventing pregnancy, the steady stream of progestin in your bloodstream can cause side effects including irregular bleeding, decreased sex drive, headaches, and abdominal or back pain, to name a few. Side effects come with any birth control method that uses hormones to prevent pregnancy. This includes the pill, hormonal IUDs, shots, and implants. And if you're not down for that, there's a whole list of non-hormonal choices. But you have to remember to use them every time you have sex. And you have to use them correctly every time. And you know how easy it is to lose your head in the moment. These options aren't as effective as hormonal options because of user error. They're called barrier methods because they do their best to keep the sperm from entering the uterus. Condoms, well, you can't go wrong with the classic, right? Fall into this category. Another type of barrier method is the diaphragm. A diaphragm is a dome-shaped disc, a flexible rubber that you can insert into your vagina so that it can block sperm from reaching your uterus. A diaphragm must be used along with a sperm killing, aka a spermicidal gel or foam, for extra protection. It is inserted 2 hours or less before intercourse and left in place for 8 hours. So much for living in the moment. Alright, intercourse at 2100 hours and insertion at 1900 hours. Do you copy?
Oh yeah.
Your doctor can help you figure out the best type and size of diaphragm for you. But they're not perfect. Around 12% of women who use them get pregnant each year. Again, user error, yeah. A cervical cap is very similar to a diaphragm, but it's smaller and not as effective. These little babies are about the size of a thimble, and as their name suggests, they fit over your cervix. And about 14% of women using a cervical cap will become pregnant within the year. Then there's the sponge. Now the sponge is probably the most convenient barrier method next to condoms. No need to see a doctor, no prescription needed. Just moisten it with water and insert it kind of like a tampon into your vagina, where it releases a spermicide to kill off those little swimmers before they have a chance to get to your uterus. You can put it right before the action starts or up to 24 hours ahead of time if you don't want to interrupt the flow. You know what I'm saying, right? Like the other barrier methods, the sponge ain't perfect either. It's anywhere from 76% to 88% effective. The better you are at using it, the better it will work. And now, you're ready to take control of your birth control. If you have questions about contraception, pregnancy, or other medical topics, ask us in the comments. And if you want to keep it private, shoot us an email, or you can reach out through our free consultation. And as always, thank you for watching. This has been Your Good Doctor.
To proceed with free online consultation, click the link in the comments section.